Hey guys, it's Alicia. Today I'm going to be making up some apple cider donut muffins. I have some apple cider that I want to get used up, and I thought what better way than to make some of these muffins up with that. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I thought I would take you guys along with me and show you how I do these. They're very easy, but very good. So let me jump into the ingredients real quick. First off, you're going to be needing some all-purpose flour. I'm going to be using 2 cups of that. For sweetener today, I'm going to be using some of this Lakanto Monkfruit sweetener, just the classic white sugar replacement. I'm going to be using a 1/3 cup of that. I'm going to be needing a 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, a teaspoon baking powder, a teaspoon vanilla extract, and then here I've got some homemade apple pie spice. I'm going to be using 2.5 teaspoons of this, but that's going to be divided. I'm going to use 1.5 teaspoons in the muffins and then a teaspoon for the topping. I'll go ahead and link a video where I show how I make this. It's very, very easy, but if you don't have this and don't want to make this, you can also just sub out with cinnamon for this recipe. Also, for my sugar spice topping that I'm going to be putting on these, I am going to actually be using just regular sugar for the topping, and I've said this before, but that is mainly just to avoid the cooling effect that you can get from erythritol when you bake with it, especially. Since I'm using this for the topping, it's not going to dissolve in liquid, which is what you really need to do to avoid that cooling effect when you're using erythritol. So I'm going to just avoid having any issue with that and use regular sugar for the topping on these. Next up, you're going to need 2 large eggs, and here I have got a tablespoon of coconut oil that I just melted, and then you're going to need about 1/2 teaspoon salt, a cup of unsweetened applesauce, and you definitely want to use the unsweetened, not sweetened. And then back here I've got a 1/2 cup apple cider. And that is everything that you're going to need to make these. So let's get started. Got my oven preheating to 350 right now, and in a medium-sized bowl I'm going to go ahead and get all my dry ingredients mixed up. So that just starts off with the 2 cups all-purpose flour, my 1.5 teaspoons apple pie spice, and again, if you don't have or don't want to use this, you can use cinnamon instead, 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, teaspoon baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon salt. And I'm gonna just get all of that mixed really well together. Okay, I've got that all nice and mixed together, so now I'm gonna just set this aside and work on the next step. In a large bowl, I'm gonna go ahead and add in my cup of unsweetened applesauce, 1/2 cup apple cider, 1/3 cup Lakanto sweetener or whatever non-calorie sweetener you wanna use, my teaspoon vanilla, tablespoon of coconut oil, and my 2 large eggs that I've beaten lightly. And now I'm gonna just stir all this together really well. I've got this combined, but I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of whisk it for a minute or so. And that's just mainly because I'm trying to get that sweetener, the Lakanto, in there to kind of dissolve as much as possible before I add my dry ingredients in here, because that's kind of the best way to prevent, as I said before, the cooling effect is to dissolve your sweetener in a liquid first. So I'm trying to get that as dissolved as much as I can before I add my dry ingredients in, but I'll whisk this for about a minute or so. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and pour in my dry ingredients and kind of just fold those in. And you don't want to over mix this, so I'm gonna just fold it until I don't see any more of the dry ingredients. And the reason you don't want to over mix is just because mainly you want to avoid having a tougher dough or denser dough. So that's why I want these to rise as well as they can and just not be dense and tough. So you don't want to overmix to prevent that. That's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and get my muffin tin out. I've got my muffin tin here, and I've got it lined with these silicone liners that I like to use. And now I'm going to take my little handy dandy ice cream scoop, which is roughly about a 1/4 cup, and I'm gonna fill these. I just find that's the easiest way for me to fill muffin cups is with the ice cream scoop because I don't make as much of a mess when I do it that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill all of these and then I will be back. I've got these all filled and I thought I was recording, but I was not. But what I've got here is I've got that 3 tablespoons of regular sugar, and to it I just added a teaspoon of apple pie spice. And if you don't want to use apple pie spice, again, you could just use cinnamon. And I just shook it up in this container. I just put a little lid on it and gave it a nice shake to get my spiced sugar. You just stir this, do it however you want to combine it, but I've got that all combined together. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take this and I'm gonna sprinkle it on the tops of all of my muffins. Okay, I've got all of these topped. So now I'm gonna go ahead and bake these at 350 for probably about 20 minutes, but I will be back once they are done. You wanna bake them until a toothpick will come out clean. I let these bake just about 22 minutes. They are done. So now I'm gonna go ahead and let them cool in here for about 5 minutes, and then I will take them out of the pan and let them cool the rest of the way on a cooling rack. I've got a couple of these on a plate here, and we're gonna taste them in just a second. But these, for me, are 4 points. And as always, I will have ingredients, instructions, and WW recipe builder link down in the description box below of this video. So definitely check that out. But for me, they are 4 points. We'll go ahead and break one of these open and give it a taste. My hubby will go ahead and give these a try. Break it open on.
Smells like cinnamon, which is wonderful. What's that?
That's a fleck of flour that didn't get
Fleck of flour.
A fleck of flour. You don't want to overmix, but sometimes you can not mix enough when you do that, which is what that would be. You got some on your beard, I think. Yeah, you do. Saving that for later. I'm gonna try a bite too.
Well, I took too big of a bite, so apologies for that. That is really good.
I'll try a little bite. I might have overcooked these just slightly by a minute or so, honestly, looking at it, but.
I mean, it's really sweet. Got the apple flavors subtle, you know, not overpowering, and the cinnamon's really good.
Really good, yep. Mm-hmm. And those are good.
How many points?
They're 4.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Not bad. All right, guys. Those are apple cider donut muffins. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna go enjoy one of these right now. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.